Guys, Gene, your latest column for the Washington Post encapsulates where we are as a country, and you write in part this: how did we become, in such an alarming measure, so dumb? Why is the news dominated by ridiculous controversies that should not be controversial at all? When did so many of our fellow citizens become full-blown nihilists who deny even the concept of objective reality? And how must this look to the rest of the world? Our elected representatives in the U.S. Senate, which laughably calls itself the world's greatest deliberative body, agreed Thursday not to wreck our economy and trigger a global recession, at least for a few weeks. The frequent games of chicken that Congress plays over the debt ceiling are, to use a term of art I recall from Economics 101, droolingly stupid. COVID-19 is a bipartisan killer. In the tribal political sense, the safe and effective vaccines are a bipartisan miracle developed under the Republican Trump administration and largely distributed under the Democratic Biden administration. People in most of the rest of the world realize, however, that vaccination is not political at all. And then, of course, there's the whole stolen election farce, which led to the tragedy of January 6th. How dumb can a nation get and still survive? Idiotically, we seem determined to find out.
Well, there's long been a saying that Bismarck supposedly said, a special providence protects fools, drunkards, and the United States of America.
Wow.
That saying seems to be really being tested right now. It's so interesting you wrote this at this point. I was walking down the street a couple of days ago, and as I was walking down the street, it just hit me for the first time. I was looking around, and I thought, my God, for the first time in my life, I'm looking around, and I'm thinking, the majority of these people that I'm around in a region that I won't mention, get all their news from Facebook. Yeah. The facts that are on the ground in all of our communities and across our country, across the world, about medicine, about science, new information they get from their own doctor, information they would get if they read the election results on Fox News websites, Wall Street Journal websites. Just doesn't matter to them. They don't see it. They live in their own bubble of misinformation and are driven by conspiracy theories. And it was an isolating fact, a frightening fact. I feel sorry for them because they're the ones who are putting their lives and their families' lives in danger.
Yeah, no, that is tragic, really. I mean, and you know, people, the people who booed Lindsey Graham in my home state of South Carolina last weekend when he you know, meekly suggested that, gee, you might think about getting the vaccine. They, you know, boo, boo, boo. Oh, you know, really? I mean, seriously? These, you know, this is medicine that will save your life, and without which you might very well die needlessly from deadly and highly infectious disease. You would think that's not a controversy. That should not be a question. Yet it's been made into a question by misinformation and ignorance. And there's so much of that going around. You know, we talked about the Senate and Republicans in the Senate and their idiotic game of chicken that they wanted to play, you know, with everybody's retirement savings and the world economy and the status of the United States as the world's economic superpower with the world's reserve currency, the dollar. All of that out the window if we default on the debt. But they wanted to play this game. I mean, we can't keep doing this. We have to get if not smart, then at least, you know, not totally dumb, not totally ignorant. We have to be more intelligent about our national life, our political life, and our personal lives. If we're going to make it, if we're going to survive, if people talk about this being another American century. How is that going to happen if we are acting like a bunch of clowns all the time? It's just it's frustrating and amazing, and yet, as you said, you walk down the street and you look and you say, well, what's in those people's heads? And it's frightening to contemplate.
Well, it is frightening. A lot of conspiracy theories. The tragic news yesterday came out that I think it was a Maryland man got a gun, killed his 85-year-old neighbor, stole her car, drove to his brother-in-law's house because he had been reading conspiracy websites. His brother was a pharmacist. He kept telling his mother that his brother was killing people, and he knew about the plot to kill people, to poison people. Went upstairs, shot his brother, shot his brother's wife, killed them both. These are the conspiracy theories that are spreading around, infecting the minds of Americans. So they're going to school board meetings and shouting and screaming and starting fights, doing just absolutely heinous things to fellow Americans, to fellow citizens, because of the conspiracy theories. But Gene, there are a segment of politicians who thrive on that.
Exactly.
And they thrive on that because they want people confused. They understand they don't have the majority of Americans on their side voting anymore. You look at the Supreme Court, 5 Supreme Court justices were appointed by presidents that got elected without the majority vote. And you look at what's happening in Republican legislatures across America, and what are they trying to do? They're trying to take power away from local voting officials who just count the votes because they want to be able to throw out votes because they know they're going to be in the minority. They're trying to stay in office using illiberal means, knowing that their day has already passed.
Right, and encouraging this ignorance by lying to their constituents and trying to scare them into continued support. It is the politicians, and let's be honest, we're talking about Republican politicians, are in part responsible. They're certainly contributing to this ignorance, but also, people have personal responsibility and need to own their own ignorance and do something about it. Really, you're going to get all your news from Facebook. You're going to get. You're going to. That's how you're going to go through life. Well, look, it was that the column was just kind of a bleat of frustration. The question is, what do we do about this? Politically, what we do is the Republican Party needs to be crushed in an election, and because parties, when they are crushed, that's when they actually reform and change. Until that happens, I don't see the Republicans reforming at all, and I don't see them behaving any better.
And Mika, of course, now there are just platforms for conspiracy theorists to take off, to spread the word in a way that we didn't have back in the 90s. We've talked about the emails we used to get about Bill Clinton. They'd be half in caps, half in red, half in blue, crazy emails from people with conspiracy theories. But now people can congregate and they get credence for their conspiracy theories, and they spread and they become fact in the minds of so many people.
And so far, no accountability on that. It's something that is really impacting the overall state of our democracy. Meanwhile, the Justice Department is taking steps to try and combat a rise in threats against educators. In a memo this week, Attorney General Merrick Garland directed the FBI to meet with local and state police in the next 30 days to discuss strategies for addressing growing harassment. Educators have become a major target of abuse, in particularly of late over vaccine and mask mandates in schools and warnings from some in right-wing media over critical race theory. But in a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on Tuesday, Republican Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri accused Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco of trying to censor free speech. Our friends at All In with Chris Hayes put this montage together, demonstrating just how disingenuous Hawley's argument was.